What are the best ways to tell a story? A novel? Play? Poem? A film? Maybe even a video game? But how about through social media? Is it possible to tell an entire story completely through the medium of Twitter? This is what the Twitter account TheSunVanished has set out to do. It's not the first to try and make a fictional narrative and present it through some form of social media. One of the earliest examples of this sort of storytelling is Lonely Girl 15, a web series that started way back in 2006, ended in 2008, and is considered to be one of the first of its kind. But while both TheSunVanished and Lonely Girl 15 vary in terms of their content, their core premise is the same. Make a web series and present it, at least initially, as if it's completely real. In this case, this Twitter series is telling a story about, well, how the sun suddenly vanished. Starting in late April 2018, the account first tweeted out one word: help. Ever since then, the account has told a very unsettling story about, well, I think you should read it and experience it for yourself, but suffice to say, it's gripping and tells a frightening story of how the sun and all the other stars and planets suddenly disappeared, all from the perspective of our lowly tweeter. And while the story can just be read all in one go, and you'll be able to catch up very quickly to the most recent tweet, in my opinion, much of the story's suspense comes from the break in between tweets. That break in real time that gives us at least a moment to catch our breath. But much of what we don't see or don't understand in the story also helps build that suspense and tension even further. And that's because we have a unique role as readers. We follow the account, eagerly awaiting for the next tweet, the next part of the story to come in, desperate to know where the story is going next. Although the last tweet came on July 16th, and as of the 10th of August, the account has seen little activity apart from the user comments and the exponential growth of its follower account. This pause only further heightens our state of fear and suspense. But this suspense through ambiguity is certainly not unique to this sort of social storytelling, far from it. One of the most prominent examples of this, to my mind, are comics. Comics rely almost entirely on the reader to fill in the gaps in between panels. Comic author Scott McCloud, in his book Understanding Comics, devoted a large section in his book to this phenomena. Closure in comics is far from continuous and anything but involuntary. Every act committed to paper by the comics artist is aided and abetted by a silent accomplice, an equal partner in crime known as the reader. I may have drawn an axe being raised in this example, but I'm not the one who let it drop or decided how hard to blow, or who screamed or why. That, dear reader, was your special crime, each of you committing it in your own style. All of you participated in the murder. All of you held the axe and chose your spot. To kill a man between panels is to condemn him to 1,000 deaths. Participation is a powerful force in any medium. And that's what makes this sort of social storytelling so interesting and compelling. It combines new and old aspects of narrative, of crossing the modern with the fundamental. In other words, using the medium of Twitter to tell a story in which the reader is an accomplice to the story's mayhem. So is it possible to tell a story through tweets? Absolutely. You can tell a story in basically any medium. And it's fascinating to see a story like this that melds into the tweets of reality and just becomes a part of the rest of our Twitter and social media feed, engrossing us in its own twisted telling of the real.